And we are live. Peace, everyone. Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to the Full Notice Podcast. My name is Ramari, and today, another special guest. We have a NFL player today. This is very exciting. I'm extremely interested in the life story, the path, the journey. I played football myself, so I know the mind state that it takes to be a gladiator and reach the level at which the professional athletes compete at. It's definitely not something that is to be taken lightly. I have a few friends that are in the NFL, have played in the NFL, and I always find it fascinating to see how these men are able to have their NFL life, have that warrior mentality, and also have a normal civilian life, if that makes sense. So without further ado, Jamaine Winborne. What's up, brother?
Not much, man.
What's going down?
Thank you, man. We've been trying to get this for a little bit.
Yes, sir.
We finally got it going, though, so I appreciate your patience. Definitely.
I thank you for being here, and I'm very interested in our conversation. You know, we've been chopping it up, just without being online.
Just talking.
Yeah, and it's incredible. It's so easy to speak with you, and you're full of wisdom, and I can see that.
Thank you.
We were talking about veganism and just eating healthy, and one of my favorite topics, and I think most people don't have the reasons why they should, or they kind of look at veganism as like a religion, and for some people it can be, they may act like that. But I'm interested to know your take as an athlete and also a trainer. I'm sure you're a wealth of knowledge when it comes to health and things like that, and I'm definitely going to be digging into that. But I want to start off asking you a question. This is a very important question that I feel that it's maybe one of those questions that may throw you off, right? What is your legacy? What would you like to leave behind?
I would say, for me, the biggest thing that I want to leave behind is a good example of finding something that I'm good at that I can give back to. Like, I think that we're all good at something. Whether you shine shoes well, or you can speech and you give speeches and you can just talk to people and people can pick up what you're putting down. I think we all should have something that we give back to the world, right? Like, Kobe gave back, work ethic and that idea that, like, that go-getterism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, like Martin Luther King, show people that you could be so much more from a culture standpoint. But for me, my legacy is, or I want it to be, is, and this talks directly to my two boys, but I want people to understand that everything starts with them. And obviously they know I'm in health and fitness, but like you can't jump from A to B without taking care of A, right? So I want people to just, if you ever get anything from any content that I will put out, if you ever work with me, like, that everything starts with you. You got to take care of your temple, your body, because you can't take care of anyone else, anything else. I mean, I'm talking about your wife, your kids, your mother, if you don't take care of you,
right.
From a mental standpoint and a physical standpoint. So, and I'm not the only one pushing that narrative, obviously. I think I approach it a little bit different from some other people, but it doesn't matter because I would support them just as well as hopefully it was.
Because the overall the crux of what you're saying is, have a overall wellness about your life in as a whole. Whether it's mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, that kind of makes for a well balanced lifestyle.
Yeah, you can't have, and everyone you name is spot on. You can't have just the physical and not have the mental or not have the spiritual side of it. It's very important to find it, and you don't find it right away. Like when you're young, you might find the physical part, but you're not ready from a mental or spiritual standpoint. Spiritual might be the last one to come in the door, right? Or you might be spiritual from jump, and that physical part or that emotional part, whatever you say, may come later.
Right.
But the goal is, can you align all of those before, your last breath?
Mm-hmm.
Can you do that? Because then if you're able to do that, I think you can give back more, and it's more of a fulfilled life for you.
Right.
But I feel like you rob people if you don't, because then you can never.
You had mentioned Martin Luther King, and I think that the people who give the most, of themselves by setting an example, for whatever reason, something that we inadvertently or maybe consciously, like we're doing now, we're giving back, but we're giving of ourselves to the people. So by doing so, we've had to cultivate ourselves, work on ourselves, develop our mindset, so that we can now, provide the value to others, so that they can see us. It's like we're the light, and we want to give that light to people.
You hitting a spot early, man. We just started this. No, I 100% agree. I think that because you have to be in a place to be able to deal with what comes back with that when you put yourself out there. Like, you can know that something's right, and you can know that it's something that you should put out there, but that doesn't mean people are going to receive it well, and it definitely doesn't mean that like you're not going to get backlash from it.
Right.
So I think personally, it's a way to go about it, but you have to be prepared. Like, and we'll stay with the Martin Luther King example. Like, he had to be fearless, right?
Absolutely.
Because given those times, it's the things that you do back then could cost you your life, as opposed to today. But also on top of that, he had to be mentally tough. His spiritual had to be on another level.
Yes.
Because it's like you're in a time where people of a different background, color, they only know how to affect you with violence, but that's not your approach, right? You got to fight violence with words,
a different approach.
Yeah. So
and
like
at that
that's
time when you really don't have you didn't have no other you don't have another vision of how to defend yourself, and you creating a path through nonviolence.
That's a blueprint right there. So you can go back in time and study anything and learn. Like, I follow a lot of people, whether it's about, the monetary system or the health system or whatever you want to call it. And it's like somebody has paved the blueprint for you to follow. And I would always say it's always harder for, the ladies and gentlemen that came first, like Martin Luther King. It's like, you can speak about civil rights now, and you don't have to technically fear for your life.
Back in the day.
I mean, it's tough for them.
Giving rights to black. What are you talking about?
Look at her talking, running through the woods, like like it's just it's a different time. So, it's one of those things where, again, like, I could probably tell you all of these young men and women that are like, if you don't, it's so many examples. Sometimes Hennessy does they do commercials, and I found out about a guy that African American who was riding a bike. I can't think his name right now, but I will literally stop and write a name down and go look him up, and then I'll find out a crazy story that I never knew. It's another story of somebody that broke a barrier, like the first one to do it. Right. I thought it was somebody else 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but they did it 100 years ago.
Oh man, we have a situation where we don't get the recognition that we may deserve for certain things that we have created, like the air conditioner. A lot of people don't know it was a brown man created the air conditioner.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? But
I don't think I knew that, so you just put me on the game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look that up.
Well, hold on. I could put you up on some more stuff.
I'm sure you could.
The whole United States of America was technically, and this is, you guys could Google this for real. Like, don't Google it. Go to the Library of Congress and go look into what I'm about to say. The United States as a government was created by brown people. This is 100% facts. The first president was black, legit.
I've heard that before.
John Hanson was a brown man. Did you know that? You ain't know that. I know you ain't know that. But yeah, this is stuff that most people don't really know. And I mean, some you always get your pushbacks. Like, you'll get people that'll go on there and say, "No, you're lying," but then they haven't done the research. So what do I care? Say whatever you guys want out there, but yeah, you better eat that red pill because the reality is this is our land, technically. You know, we are the true Native Americans. We're not African American because we're that's two different continents. You can't be black because that's a color. We're disenfranchised, so we don't have a state. But if you do the history, you'd find that the Native Americans had counties. So the state that we would be in was our county governments. So the system, you know, you have feudalism, and you have whatever other kind of,
Yeah, I
you know,
understand.
yeah. So we here had a county governments, and that's a native. Even to this day, you still have, you know, towns that they're called something something village or whatever. Villages was Indian. That's Indian territory.
It's a movie that came out, and one of my good friends was telling me about. He said I need to watch. I don't know the name of it, but it's based on how one of the richest Native American families had their land stolen.
Oh, in New
And,
York, right?
yeah, and this is how the FBI was kind of started. Like they had kind of like
Oh,
this is it's crazy. And off thing when I look it up, I definitely share it with you. But what happened is the land was stolen by you know the
Europeans.
Europeans when they came over, and they murdered people in this family because this family like had land. They were rich, wealthy,
Oh
not
yeah,
rich.
we had the black nobility, quote unquote black nobility. I use that term loosely. Um, However, yeah, we did have, you know, see, my family, we're Arawak, and Arawak, those more, there we consider ourselves Moors. Really, like that's just a term. That's like another way of saying black, but in, you know, maroon or whatever. But uh, the uh, the Native Americans came from Quisqueya, which is the name of the land, right? But that land was all the way up to the Delawares. So from the Delawares all the way down to Florida and to the Caribbean, all the way down, and then from the Caribbean they jumped from the Caribbean to uh Aruba to there's like another like land island, and then they went to Brazil. So all of that same people, the same. We
Crazy.
like we if we go travel these lands and we see the indigenous people there, they all look like us. It's crazy. It's like kind of you be like, huh?
Yeah,
Like, how you look? How you look like me?
not a surprise, man.
But
I wouldn't be surprised at all. To be honest with
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of it's just a lot of lost knowledge, you know, because like I said, we are disenfranchised, and we haven't been able to create our own uh culture because we've been in, you know, we've been basically given the culture through media. You know, that's just my opinion on it. I think that it's hard for us to find our unity because we're going based off of what the powers that be or the people who are the executives of, you know, whatever music industry, whatever, you know, really the music industry is really what I think the media, social media has like a grip on our people. And because of that, I think that we create a culture around whatever we're listening to, and it creates the, you know, unfortunate reality that we're in. You know, we're in.
you. Yeah, no, 100%. I think now too when you hear something on like mainstream medium, just I'm now at a point where I just kind of think the opposite.
Yeah.
Like that's just the safest way to go. Like I mean, it wasn't as bad 10 years ago, but it's to a point now. It's so bad that like it's very like I mean I ain't gonna say left right. I ain't gonna get into that part of it, but like it's always an agenda.
Hmm.
It's an agenda used to be just to provide true information. I don't know if it ever was that, to be honest with you.
Well, this is what I'd say, right? When we look at, for example, we look at the definition of American. The original definition, or at least in the 1852 Webster's dictionary, the definition of an American is an Aboriginal of America. Uh, the no, it says yeah, an Aboriginal of America. The copper colored people, no, the copper colored people in the continent of Americas, and then it says found by Europeans and then now adopted by Europeans, now known as Americans. something. I have the
I already know where
dictionary,
you're going with it.
but yeah, it's like a hidden. So like I was saying, me as far as I'm concerned in my generations, my family wasn't enslaved. So my father's side of the family, they kept their estates up. So we knew our crest and shield. We had our heraldry, and we've never been nowhere. So if we were the natives back then, and we had a crest, a shield, and this and that, and we no mixing. It was just my on my dad's side is they were like they kept their ancestry records in house. So I mean my family wasn't the only family. Luckily it was we were fortunate enough to know what we were and who we were as a family, as a people, as a tribe. Like my dad had those records. So it's sad to see like the rest of my people, and then I can't tell you what you are because we had so many tribes and so many things. I can, luckily I was born in a little island where, it was not everybody was just one thing basically, so. But yeah, man, we didn't even get to you yet, man.
It's all good, man. We got time.
So yeah, what my original first question was, what's the man that you are today, right? Your earliest childhood memory that started to put you on a journey or on a path to who you are today, and the experiences that influenced you to go to the NFL, play football, become an athlete in general. Can you go in on that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna probably definitely approach it from a different aspect because, and I tell some people this when they ask me, my father was very very much into martial arts, like very much into martial arts. He learned from a master guy that was training people in the woods, like they was out in the leaves and trees, and he would always tell me stories about it. But obviously, when his father wasn't in his life, which my grandfather, he always knew he was gonna be in my life. That was just that's that feeling you have, you have loss. So he was actually he was actually a good parent to my friends because some of my friends' fathers weren't in their lives. They were going through that thing he went through, so he felt like it was his need. But just to get to the point of, he pulled me right into that martial arts. Like I was doing it from the time I can't tell you the first day I rode on the mat, right? Because it was that early.
Wow. So since
I grew up in it.
Yeah.
And I would always tell you, and I tell my son to this day, like I think that discipline, that mentality is what made it so I could pick up. I picked up on sports like that. Like it was easy. Like it was just
because you had already the disciplined mind.
Like I'd already been through that, and I see it nowadays, and we're definitely gonna go down that rabbit hole, obviously. But from the time that I was either thrown on the mat or I learned how to fall, I learned how to defend myself. I think that's when I knew, like, it just gave me a different outlook on life.
Right, because you understood violence early on. You understood the art of self-defense.
Yeah.
And I've never been big into martial arts. I played football. I was as a youth, I was maybe bigger than everybody else. Like we have A team, C team.
Yeah.
Like I was always like the lineman, but I was always the fastest. But because we had like a certain weight, you had to play at this.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah,
you big guy, like you gotta go block.
Yeah,
right?
I gotta block no matter what. So really, I had the running back.
You could be there, right?
But yeah, I had to block, right? So I was always kind of bigger than all the other kids.
Yeah.
So I played. I was just like, oh, football, and I'm pancaking kids left and right. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do until I got to middle school where everybody caught up and. And I was already fast, so boom, I started playing outside linebacker, and it kind of took off from there. But what I remember me growing up was that being that discipline.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Oh my God.
I didn't know about discipline until I moved back with my father in 4th grade. That's because I was just like whatever.
Yeah.
I was a child. But when I moved back with my dad. Bringing it back to like your dad teaching you, like putting you on the mat early. Like it wasn't until I was in 4th grade where I really learned how to be disciplined. You know, my dad taught me, you know, being a man, waking up early, like making my bed. My mom did that for me.
Mm-hmm.
So she, you know, my mom, my loving mother, just she'll make the bed for me. But my dad made me do it for myself. And as a child, I'm like, oh man, this is all right, Dad. Like,
Real.
you know, so I could definitely, you know, I definitely understand that for sure.
Yeah,
Discipline, I think, is like the word.
It's a big one, man. And it is it instills, not only does it helps you get where you need to go, but it gives you a confidence. Like some you can see it, some athletes, some kids, some people, they just comfortable in their
Mhm.
skin. Like they just it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going on outside because it's something here. It's never
Mhm.
what you have on, what comes out of your mouth, how you look. It's just something that's inside you. And I felt for me, martial arts was it provided me with that.
Did you get into competition and
So
things of that
no,
nature?
I actually got out early. I think sports came in and kind of took over. But we did do shows. So we did shows all the time. So they were always trying to promote, you know, the arts. So we would go to rec centers, whoever would have us, and we would pull out. They would bring their mats to the rec centers, and I'm talking about like like the '80s, like, and you know, I have another kid of same size or something, and we go through some moves,
Mhm.
and just to show the art, like, cause it's art, it's like anything else, and but I never got into competing because I didn't stay in it long enough for that, and this particular, and I can't tell you the name of it. My dad will probably be mad when he sees this, but it was more of a self defense art where you would learn how to deal with multiple predators,
Like Krav Maga type
yeah.
of
So
thing?
no, not even Krav Maga. A little early in that, like you could literally learn. So they taught my father how to kill a man from the neck up 100 different ways.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I didn't even know
My
you-
dad used to be a bad man. Like you see him today, and it's like I try to explain it to my sons, but it's like he was a bad man. Like dudes were scared of him. Like I wasn't out of pocket too much because
Nah,
I knew
you.
better,
I mean,
right?
if he could kill you 100 ways
From
just
the neck
from the
up,
neck
Just from the
up,
neck
because
up,
they
right.
study pressure points. A
Yeah.
lot of that stuff was we learned pressure points in certain parts of the body you
Mhm.
could touch to get someone to succeed. So it could be intense. But yeah, like for me it was the confidence part was just there, and it wasn't because I was never out here fighting. I didn't get into fights.
Right, right.
I didn't have to. Like I was always like I act the way I'm supposed to. I carry myself in a respectable way. But yeah, my dad was a beast, man.
You know something. When I met you, I immediately sensed a mature, like an adult. You know,
Oh,
like
definitely.
you know, it was like a good feeling to see a man that's like a man, like a family man, a true like a hero of a man. Cause I'm used to seeing guys nowadays, man, and it's kind of like they're either trying to be young, they're trying to portray themselves a certain way. You know, they want to be it's like just the extra, and you know, like I really, when I speak about this specific kind of topic, I usually mention women because you have like 40, 50-year-old women trying to act like they're 20 and trying to, you know, however, it goes the same for men. And as soon as I met you, I'm like, all right, this is a man. Like he carries himself like a man, very respectable. And
100%.
you know, it's not something that is there's many men that are like that, but it's not all men. It's very, you know.
One thing that I think, and we talk about legacy, and we talk about like, so it's a different time now. You know what I mean? It's a different
Yeah.
time now than it was a few years ago, and it's I mean like years ago. Like it's so many things, and again, this is what I do like for a living comes into play. Um, I was when I first moved to Jersey. I've been in Jersey now maybe like 8 years,
Mhm.
like maybe 8 years, and I've been around here. I met some really awesome people, really stand up people, and one of the gyms I worked in was a UFC gym.
Talking to the mic, please.
All right, so I'm sorry. One of the gyms that I worked at was the UFC gym, and at that gym, there was a lot of guys and women who did stunts or were heavy in the martial arts. It wasn't just boxers, right?
Mhm.
So we would have. I got into some really. I'm all about conversation. I got into some really good conversations where I'm talking, and we were talking about how not only just how the role of a male has changed, but like men aren't the same as they used to be.
Mhm.
If you tested the grip. They've tested the grip of a man's strength. It's dropped.
Oh
It's
yes,
the
that's
50s.
right. Yeah,
Like,
you're right.
like something ridiculous, like
Yeah, yeah,
60%, like 50%, like something crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't give you exact numbers. And we've gotten away from the things that made us men.
Men, yes.
Right? Like the average man probably couldn't throw a punch. And I'm I'm going at it from the
side,
fighting
yeah,
aspect because I was hanging around well trained guys who were either in some type of martial arts or they know how to throw a punch. And it's like now the average, you need to be able to protect your family, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't mean you need to be able, like, you don't need to be like Bruce Lee in it out here, but you need to be able to, like, first you need to have the confidence, stand up for what's right? And then on top of that, you need to be able to be in some type of shape to be able to, for one, if you got sons, you set an example.
Right.
Like, I don't care what you say about what people think, but people judge you off of how you
100%.
look, right?
100%.
Like if you walk into for a job for an interview and you look the part, like you said, you come in, first impressions are everything. And I feel like we've gotten away from that from a male standpoint of like not taking care of ourselves, you know, not relying on ourselves more to be there for our families, to be like those examples. And I take that as a compliment when you say, hey, like you're a man, you like, that's something to be like, I don't think people acknowledge it anymore, but like everybody walking around here doesn't check the boxes.
Yeah, because
you know?
it's a mind state. That's the only way I can see that you're disciplined. And it's a, how do I say this? When you have people who live life on easy mode, you know, like they just don't feel the need to self-improve. And then you have those who go out of their way to self-improve.
100%.
People who go through the fire because they know once they get out of the fire, they're going to be stronger, more fortified. Like you could have done, you know, maybe something different, but you chose 100%. To be an athlete because the competition, the challenges, you were built for that. I know, you know, I have warriors, like I literally have warrior tatted on me. Like I have a warrior's mind state. And one of the things that I said to myself early on in life was, I'm not going to allow for whoever I'm doing, you know, we're doing push-ups, I'm not going to lose to you. I don't care if my arms fall off. I'm going to fortify my mind. You know, it's like, you know, people that jump in the cold water, the ice tubs, and they're like, oh, it's cold. Like, I jump in there, man, you wouldn't even know I'm cold. I jump in, I'm like,
mental thing.
It's all mental. My trainer taught me that early on. Sam Garn, somebody that I hope, you know, one day you meet. He's a ex NFL guy too. Probably have very interesting conversations with him.
100%.
And he taught me the value of being mentally strong and prepared. Like, you know, my dad wasn't in my life all the time, so like I found, you know, my coaches and the men in my life. I leaned on them to guide me towards, you know, being a better man and so forth and so on. And Sam Garnes was the first guy that I related to because we similar backgrounds, and he really got me out of like the hood mentality and kind of you know, taught me things. So yeah, I relate 100% to what you're saying. You know,
you said something. Competition, being competitive. Every man should have that.
Yes.
It doesn't. It can be in the work. You can work in a cubicle. Like, don't let the person next to you do better, right? And that's one thing that I think is missing too. It's a big thing. Is competition. Like, you gotta always be your best. Now, I'm not saying, I know Michael Jordan used to say, like, people don't. I'm not competing with you. I'm competing with the best me. But I'm very competitive. You know what I mean? So I think that is something that is huge. Like, and it's how you come across. Like, somebody else might be like, oh man, you crazy. It's cold.
What was Kobe Bryant's main thing was his work ethic. I think he would wake up. Or I don't know if Kobe said, somebody said about how, like, I think, I'm not sure if it was Kobe Bryant or if it was Michael Jordan, but they went to the gym early because they knew that he
Kobe.
Yep. He would go
That's
to
Kobe.
the gym early, right?
Yep. And Kobe was there an hour before.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
he
like,
had broke it down to where he felt like I could get 2 more workouts in before you get up. And he didn't even take it from a daily standpoint. He took it from, if I could do this, think about if I did this for 10 years. he did the math and he said that would put me so far ahead of my competition by light years. Because at some point, I done doubled up so much. Like, you're on 10 workouts, but those 2 that I got in every day when you were still asleep just multiplied. And that's how he looked at it. And that's amazing because
It worked out.
it's
for him
real.
Like that.
Kobe's like competitive nature was calculated.
Yeah.
Like,
It was very calculated.
Since he was a child. Like he tells stories about how when he played in like leagues in basketball, when he'd have like kids his age, he was a young kid. He'd see that most kids can't dribble with their left hand because most kids at that age couldn't. They haven't practiced dribbling with their left hand. So what would he do every single game? He'd guard kids simply and make them dribble with their left. And every time they'd move the ball to their left hand, take the ball and score. And he was the best from a young age because of just he was calculated he was so competitive that he calculated every move.
Yeah, it's one of those things where having the competitive edge as a man in anything is a strength, because obviously the world is not an easy world. It's hard out here, especially as you grow and you realize like you can't lean on your parents, or just maybe you didn't even have parents and now you're out there in the world and you got to figure out a way to make it on your own. You have to find what works for you, what you're good at, what's natural, so that you don't feel miserable as you're working.
It's crazy, and I'm just going to piggyback on that because I've met so many people, especially since I came up to the New York, New Jersey. You get a lot of immigrants. A lot of people come from other countries. And, it's times where I'm not going to say I want to be them, but their experience of having so little or not having parents, they had to grind so much that most of them are successful by their own 2 hands and 2 feet because they didn't have – all they know is hard work. Nobody give them anything. So I think that is that's one of the things that you see, or a father that holds you accountable. I think one of the best things you can do for your kid or anybody that you mentor is to let them know straight up, life is not gonna be easy.
Absolutely.
No one's giving you jack. Like,
there's studies on that actually.
Them.
There's studies that say that giving your child difficult tasks to do that challenge him, and then rewarding him for accomplishing the goals, or her for accomplishing those goals, increase their ability to succeed. It increases their ability to read. Like, I'm big on reading. I think reading for everyone should read. I think that starting young and reading a lot young increases your vocabulary. With an increased vocabulary, it adds confidence. Like a lot of football players, and especially successful football players who don't have like a parent, maybe you're just going based off your athletic ability.
Yep.
We're in the back of the room, feet up, chilling, talking back to the teachers, may not have the best, grades, so forth and so on. So a lot of times the reason for that is a defense, because they know that they really aren't good at reading. They're in the back of the class because they don't want to be chosen. So, yeah.
No, it's another point. I'm gonna switch it up because I 100% agree with that, and I feel like it's sad because it happens a lot. It happens a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But one of the big things that I've seen is it's a young lady that I follow on YouTube, and she had an opportunity. She knew somebody. One of her good friends had an opportunity to meet Berkshire Hathaway. What's his name? Richest guy. Yeah, it's crazy we can't come up with his name because I
can't believe it.
I'm always following him.
Yeah, Berkshire Hathaway is not Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett. Yeah, Warren Buffett. I'm sorry, Warren Buffett.
Okay, yeah.
So had a chance to meet Warren Buffett, and this guy was like, "Yo, I have like 1,000 questions. I'm gonna get 1,000 questions." Like he wrote the questions down. He was prepared. And when he met with met with him. So he ended up not really getting a lot of questions because actually Warren Buffett was asking him questions. Like, what do you think about this? Do you agree about this? And he would like, he left the conversation like, I didn't get to answer some questions. And then he ended up talking to another person that had the opportunity to talk to him, and he did the same thing. And the thing with people of that caliber of success, like, they don't care about being wrong. They don't want to be right. They just want to know, can you tell me what you don't like about this? Like, what did I do wrong here? Like, they don't care about being wrong. Like they will sit at the front, they will ask all the questions.
The information junkies.
They want to know.
They
want to know. I mean, like, and the thing about reading, Elon Musk, he started off reading dictionaries, like just reading the dictionary.
Oh yes,
It's a statistic somewhere out there.
He said that I think the first thing he did was read the encyclopedia.
It was a encyclopedia. It was something where he just, and then it turned into more books.
Yeah.
And like I don't know one person that whether I read about, whether it's a short film or a book, who started off reading and then become successful in some form of fashion, whether that's being a philosopher, a teacher, or whatever it is.
Historian.
It's a necessity. It
Absolutely.
really is. So I think that I always read okay, but I think once I started reading more, actually once I got into the league, I think I started reading a lot more. And now I'm buying books all the time.
I'm gonna show you my library once.
I love it.
I have books that are thousands of dollars. Like I go in on my books. Like I love this is. So I was telling the guys, I was like, I just have like books that I'm okay with showing the public because, I think that books are so meaningful that when the student is ready, the master will appear. So it's I believe on that principle that I'm not gonna give you like the piece of golden knowledge that you gotta first you don't buy you may want the Lamborghini Evo, whatever the best one it is, but you gotta first get this one to make sure that you can handle that kind of. They give you steps, you know what I'm saying?
Steps to the game.
There's steps to the game, so you gotta first start with this.
Yeah.
These are these little public books right here, and then I'll give you a little something deeper. But then, I'm at a level where I'm reading books from straight scholars, so I know like this scholar, she was not only a specialist in language, but she's also a historian specifically in that. So I know why she's the top source to go to
for that particular thing.
For that, you know what I mean? Opposed to just like, I'm just gonna randomly pick any book off the shelf. No, people who are scholars, which I consider myself knowledgeable to a degree. I'm not nearly as specific to one subject as obviously doctors. But I would say that I'm a wealth of information for things that I'm interested in, and specifically for I'm very like detailed with who I'm gonna read. Like I'm like big on that.
Calculated.
Calculated with my books. Yeah. So here's a question for you. Your journey from, let's say through your teenage years to, let's just say high school to college. During that time period, that's a very important time for the development of a man, and specifically, I know that's a very important time for athletes, kind of molding yourself, shifting, getting, really that's when you realize, oh, I'm actually good at this sport. So, what aspirations did you have as a teenager? And, did you see yourself as an NFL player? Did you see yourself as as a martial artist? Like, what was your...
So I definitely gave up the martial arts a while. Like when I started playing sports, it was just sports. It was never back and forth. So it was just sports. Like I started off, my dad was like, you can't play football. Like, you can't play it right yet. You say your bones are not strong. I never forget it because now I look back and I'm like, my bones weren't strong enough because all my friends were playing it. So it was the last sport. Obviously, the first sport he put me into was actually baseball. And he'll tell you, people who watch me grow up and say I was better in baseball than I was in most of my sports. Believe it or not, I was really good. But then I got into basketball. Basketball was just fun. Like I don't think I had a future in it, but it was fun.
I like basketball more than football.
Yeah.
Even though I'm better at football,
it's
but
crazy.
I just love basketball. Yeah.
And then that competitive side was always there from martial arts. But so I started football late. So let's just fast forward to high school. Honestly, for me, and it's weird, and as we get through this conversation, I can't say I had aspirations of playing professional sports. I just was a kid who really liked sports. I liked playing pickup games. Even, when I got in high school, I did it less because it was more about high school ball. And but I enjoyed the competition. Now, for me, when I got to high school, I came in with me and another kid had to transfer to the school because we didn't want to go to where they had us like labeled that based off of where we lived.
Right.
So we had to take Russian to get to this school because they didn't have it at either one of our schools. That was like we found the loophole. Our parents found a loophole, right? And he was way more highly touted. Like they knew who he was. He was really good. He ended up starting. He played a little bit as a freshman, but he started from his sophomore year. I didn't play varsity my first year. I still played JV, and it was the same thing with basketball. He played varsity all 4 years.
He was a great athlete.
He was a great athlete, right? And good friend. But I was that competitive side was always a chip on my shoulder. Like I never, like I was like, oh, I could.
I'm better than him. I could beat him.
I'm better on. Yeah. At least I'm just as good, but I didn't get that. I didn't get the recognition.
I had a similar story.
Yeah, so like, it always pushed me, but it was never like a me against him thing. It was just like, when I get the opportunity, I'm a ball. I'm gonna just do what I need to do, and he ended up getting hurt, and I played some positions, and it was cool, but I just never, like, I can tell you to this day, I never felt like I got the recognition at my high school.
That's how, man, listen.
And it's crazy because I could go back today and everybody could tell me, oh, like this dude went to the league, but like, just me, I never felt like it. Yeah. I could sit, somebody gonna watch this, they be like, yo, you crazy? Like, but I never felt like it. I spent my junior year really, like, at that point, again, it wasn't about college and it wasn't about NFL. It was just about being in that moment, like, I'm going to make a name for myself. And if I don't, I'm going to do something here that's going to take me to, then it was like, what can I do? Oh, I can get a scholarship and I can go to college. Because so the guys before us were getting their scholarships. We had some guys that, like, I had opportunity to play with that were really good. I had another guy that went to the league. He actually got drafted before me. He was older. Legend in my area. Had a big name, right? Really good player. And I was like, so you mold yourself after the guy that came before you.
Right.
He molded himself after the guy that came before him. So it's like, yo, like, okay, so he went to college. Now I'm like,
I had Jack Tatum. You know Jack Tatum?
Yeah.
So Jack Tatum was the guy from my area that was like the guy. That was a legend in my area. So I ended up getting his number 32. Okay. Because my coach he became like a father figure to me. His name was Vinny, and he coached Jack Tatum. And it was Vinny, Alsasser, like these old school Italian guys that were, from the area. They were just the old school coaches. Yeah. And he took me under his wing. Like, he made sure that I was like off the street. He paid for me to go work out. Like, this guy was, he was an angel to my life, Yeah. And so he would tell me about Jack Tatum stories. Like, that was what he said to get me interested. He's like, oh, he hit so hard. He made guys, da-da-da. And, I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, Vin, that's going to be me. And I'm little, And he put that belief in me. Like, yeah, you're good enough. You can do it. And he believed in me. And having that belief in me really, really drove me to become successful in football. But that all started from, like, that, that legendary, like, I wanted to be like Jack Tatum, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you always wanted, and I think we all have them. And my father was good at sports. So the other thing is too, like, I think my father kind of felt how I felt. Like, and this is where he came in, because I don't even know if I had to do this for my son, but like, he found somehow he got VHS tapes. I still have the tapes, VHS tapes of my games or a highlight. He had a highlight made from high school.
Wow.
And he physically went out and mailed them to colleges. Not my coaches, and nothing against my coaches. I had a coach, and I'm gonna just go left. Something similar to what was done for you. I had a coach who I really liked. He's a mean son of a gun. But he was like, Jamaine, write $99,000 on a piece of paper.
$99,000?
$99,000. Because that's probably what a scholarship costs.
Right.
Put it on your window in the bathroom. Look at it every day. And that's what you need to think about. Like, because they want you to, go on to the next step. He said, you have talent. You got work to do, but you got talent. And I did it. And it really changed my outlook on things. That's when I started to kind of understand the ground a little bit more, because I was just playing for local recognition. Yeah. Like, so then I talked to my dad. I want to play ball. I want to continue to play football, basically. I didn't want to get a job, so I got to figure it out. And he started mailing off, tapes, like highlight tapes, like just the same highlight tape. I still have it to this day. And, Maryland, other teams started they started sending me letters, and that's back when letters were the thing.
Yeah, yo,
you
you
getting
got
letters,
your
like, oh, I
letters?
got a letter from such and such. Like I'm doing it big.
Man,
like I remember having a bag full of it, and you couldn't tell me anything. So like.
Yeah, because
For
all your boys is they don't get no letters. You got all the letters. And
Exactly.
It's like, oh.
Highly touted. Like,
Yeah.
and again, like, it was one of the things where I was like, okay, well, I'm still not getting it. It's always a chip. I'm not getting the recognition
Yeah.
that I feel like I deserve. And between my dad and his coaches, they were for me, all right, what your mentor at that time was for you.
Right.
Like, my coach more, my dad was just being a loving father.
Right.
Like, and that pushed me. And I'm always the type, when I see somebody go above and beyond for me, it makes me want to work. Or I start telling myself, like, you got to do more. Like, somebody believe in you. If somebody always believe in you, you good. Because obviously you got to believe in yourself. And I did. I don't think once I ever doubted myself that at that time in my career.
Did you ever? What was the first hurdle and obstacle that you faced? In your recruitment process or in your high school career? Like the first thing that, or one of the hurdles that, for example, I'll give you a story for me. I had, in my team there was 3 good players. We won the championship. We went to states, and then the next year it was, we had basically 3 really incredible players. It was a guy, Matt Davella, a middle linebacker, Lamar Rodriguez, which was our wide receiver and safety, and then it was me. And of course we had other guys in the team that were like also incredible players, good players. Shout out to the whole squad. But we were the captains, and like, we just cared about the game the most, I would say. And for me it was a silent competition between me and Matt Davella and Lamar. Like we always competed, and that competition and the respect that we had, especially between me and Matt Davella, because we both played like the same. He was a linebacker, I was a linebacker.
Late.
Yeah, and I just remember us. Vinny and Matt Davella's father were like best friends, and they both coached. Like they coached us when we were in Little League, so it was a cool, like, we were almost family. And I just remember us going to the same gym. There's a place here called, it was a man, he passed. His name was Joe Carini. And
his last name's Howard, man.
He was the guy who got Tiki Barber to stop fumbling. He was like the trainer for Tiki Barber.
Wow.
Yeah, a great, incredible strength trainer. Like he was 8-time Mr. All State or something. He had like the record 8 years in a row, whatever. But this man, I remember like me and Matt would always, we would go together to work out. And that's when Vinny would tell me, do one more rep, like that. That was incredible, because I felt if I did one more rep, I'm gonna get that much better than him. He's gonna do 12, I'm gonna do 13.
There it is.
And guess what? I just, in my mind, I had to beat him. In my mind, I had to be faster than him. I had to find the edge somehow. He was like an American. He's a European American, so he was one of them big linebackers that he was just like 220. He was hitting hard. He was just a good player, a great player. And I had to be just as good, if not better. In my mind, I was the best. And I still, to this day, I think I'm the best football player I've ever seen on the field. But
don't ever change.
It's like, what am I gonna do? Think you better than me? What?
Exactly.
Let's go right now. So that's kind of how my mind worked. So, Matt Davella and that kind of just having the competition made me realize, like, to this day, I have a lot of respect for these guys who played, and to see how their discipline was, and how their discipline helped me, I guess, refine my discipline.
Exactly.
And it was one of those things where anyway.
No, healthy competition, man.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. So just to kind of go back to your question, as far as like what the biggest thing, the biggest obstacle for me was trying to get noticed to get into college, because you get to know all the guys in your area. You might not play on the same teams, you play against each other, but you know who's who knows who, right? And a lot of guys were getting those scholarships, and I didn't get one, so I had to take a right. Like I didn't go straight through. I had to Like I had to make my own wall to get through. I had to go to prep school, so I ended up going to a prep school called Fork Union. And,
Fork Union.
Yeah,
I heard of Fork Union. Yeah.
Testa Verde went there. Eddie George.
Yeah,
like it's a famous spot.
If you go there, you're good.
Yeah, like you had to go there, audition. My
They
dad put me in the car. We drove, and they would give you a amount of money, like what they call it, with like scholarship or tuition, based off of how you perform. So you had to run your 40, you had to lift weights, you had to do some drills, and they offered me, I think it was like $6,000 or something. My dad was like, "Bam, we got it, we good." And it was a couple other guys from the area that were very good, but it was either two things. It was either A, you didn't have the exposure, or your grades weren't right. So some of these kids were like felling out and going back there and redoing their senior year just to help them get. All you did there was practice your SATs because they didn't have a score.
Yeah.
So some people had the clout, but they didn't have a score, or they had a score, they didn't have.
It's kind of like Milford Academy. I went to Milford
That's
Academy.
What I'm telling you. I know Milford Academy.
Yeah.
I can relate to all that because I knew about those schools back then. So for me, I had scores, but I didn't feel like I could have went to a couple small schools, but I didn't feel like I felt like I was better than that.
Right.
Like that was just me, confidence in myself. So I went there and it gave me everything I think I needed from an exposure standpoint. Now, I don't know about Milford in a sense, but I know it was like Hargrave and a couple other schools. They at Fork Union they integrated the PGs, we call them PGs, postgraduates, into the lifestyle. So when you get there, you lose your clothes. They call civilian clothes. They lock them. You got to shine shoes. You got detail. Like it was crazy.
It was like militant.
It was military. It was like
military,
100%.
yeah.
It was 100% military.
Yeah.
You had roll call in the morning, AWOLs. Like you had to march. You had to do everything.
We didn't do all that.
Structured. Man, I went crazy, bro. I think I cried the first night.
Yeah.
It's like a teenager. Cause I live with my parents are separated, so I live with my father. Even though he's not a strict man. But
you couldn't get off on a guy who could kill you 100 ways.
Yo, so you don't gotta do anything. So for me, it was a long way from home.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys made it. Some guys didn't make it because they couldn't. The discipline was too much. It was they couldn't handle it. So that was a big thing for me. And again, like the martial arts was one thing, but then if you think about like going to military school. That just took it next level from a distance.
Yeah, that.
But it gave me I made some good friends, and it gave me the exposure I needed and the discipline to move forward. It's funny you said Tiki Barber because we were the same alma mater. Like, because I came here, he was still here when I first came here to New York. So, because I'm a UVA guy, but it got me into school, man, and I had to go a different way. And I never threw shade or anything, but like a lot of those guys, I got to school, they didn't make it. But they got there, they didn't finish in 4 years. And it was about trying to get from high school to college.
Right. That was the goal.
That was the goal.
First generation to be in school and
and it wasn't even, my dad was just happy I went to school.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like, I want to get into college. I want to get a scholarship to a good school. So I got into UVA, very good school.
That is a very good school.
And at the time, and then like I wasn't thinking about the NFL. I was just thinking about now I'm here. Well, what can I do here? Then when I got there, it was like, okay, it started all over again.
How were you as a teenager outside of sports? What was your what kind of life did you live? Were you going to the library, going to the park? What was your
Nah, I definitely was not. I was outgoing. I had my friends. We were hanging out. I did enough in school to get by. Like not to be ineligible, not to and that's the one thing like that I had to straighten when I got to college because you could take gut classes, but that wasn't really my thing, and my father didn't want that for me. So like, for instance, like I didn't spend a lot of time in the library, but what I did not have a problem with is if I knew you were good at math, I was not too cool to come pick your pocket and be like, yo. My man, I'm struggling here. Like, how can you help me? Like, I had no problem doing that. If it wasn't a girlfriend or a friend of a friend, like everybody knows somebody. Like, that person
that nerd,
got straight A's. I never had a problem with that. I tapped into that in college, and that got me through. Because it wasn't I wasn't smart enough, but I didn't know how to study the right way. I didn't know how to,
Same here.
You get a tutor. Everybody gets a tutor.
My first reality check was when I saw this girl ended up being my girlfriend. But I ended up looking over. She was beautiful, so I was already kind of eyeing her. And I looked at her at her notes, and I thought to myself like, well, I never learned how to organize my notes that way, cause I was good at football. That's what I did.
Yeah.
My job was football. I went to school,
That's how you look.
and don't tell me nothing, man. I'm just playing football. That's all I'm here for. I mean, I was like in AP. I had like AP classes. Like I love certain things. So like science, I was all in.
It's awesome, man.
But then it was just other things that I didn't care about, and you couldn't get me to do homework for nothing. Like after school, I went right to the gym. After the gym, I went home and I played Madden, and I was studying football to figure out how to play. Like, so all I cared about was football.
That's good, man.
Yeah, and then that carried me through. But when I got to college, it was you
hard.
can't just football. You have to really study. You have to do your you don't get good grades.
Yo, you go home.
You home, man.
Yeah,
I
like
didn't want to go. I was
You get on academic one in that first year, and a lot of guys got on. And a lot of guys that were really good that I played with, they weren't fast on their feet. They didn't catch on. Like you gotta put in the work, like when you get there. And so sociology was like the gut major at my school, because I mean it's UVA. It's one of the top public schools, so right under the private schools, and you can't hide too much behind those easy majors. And that was one of them, I think. Anthropology or something. I'll never forget the two, because everybody knew, and I was just like, nah, I can't do that. So I actually did government, American politics, which is weird because I have nothing to do with the government. Like I don't do anything in that sense now, but I saw it as a challenge, because I did it's crazy because like my academic advisor, man, she probably had a really, really good like a good hold on how I got through. She was very like down to earth. It was like, yo, like what I'm gonna do is she was like, I'm your academic advisor. She said, you know what I majored in? Art. I'm an art major. Like, and I was like, yo, like that just kind of put it into perspective for me. And I had my tutor, which we had a crazy relationship. We would fight. It was an older woman. Like she wasn't in school, but like she was like, she dragged me through. My last year, I had to take 22 credits for an athlete at the time just to graduate, right? And I had some crazy stuff happen to me, which helped, but like I had to grind, and I did government because at the time I was told that only one of my teammates had done it and tried, but they didn't make it. They dropped out. So I was like, let me challenge myself. That was that competitive edge.
Absolutely.
Around it, and I ended up getting through. I literally tooth and nail
your way through it.
But I got the degree, so it was one of those things.
No one's asking about your grades. They just want to know you got the diploma, right? Like,
yeah, and you already know that's how it is. So
I was thinking about I said to myself, I've heard that you can go to Harvard and get like a degree on like online.
Yeah, you can.
And I said, well, don't hurt to just have a Harvard degree on the resume.
They play the game.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I ended up not doing it because I just figured podcasting was better than doing that. But
but some people that might be the way.
Yeah,
100%.
And it is a good way.
Yeah, but the getting in college was my first. That was the first time
challenge.
like I it started to be like, oh, are you good enough? That was my first challenge from that aspect. Like, how do I get into school?
My first challenge was exactly that. Was getting into college, because like I said, there was just, I thought it was kind of favoritism. Maybe I was wrong. But that's how I felt, because I'm thinking I'm faster, I'm better, I know this,
100%.
How am I not the one getting all the newspaper coverage and this and that? And honestly, like I was getting like I'm getting 16 tackles a game. Like it was like
that's balling, man.
We have the records, but I wouldn't be the one that was on the papers or anything like that. So, I had this chip on my shoulder that made me angry. Like I was angry at the fact that I wasn't, like, people weren't riding me. Like, how come it's always him? Like, we talking about him, I'm doing all the work, I'm over here, I'm the star, baby, what's going on, right? I had that chip on my shoulder, and I remember that I went to, I remember it was like my junior year Thanksgiving game, and I was like, damn, I should have got the trophy as a junior, but they I don't know, they kind of was like, oh no, we're gonna give it to somebody else, which they probably deserved it too. Whatever. I can't recall, but I know my senior year, right? I was thinking to myself like, there is no way, because the stats are gonna be out. Like, there's no way that they don't give me this trophy because it's every game I'm balling.
Yeah.
So now they're gonna have no choice but to give me my trophy. Like, and the world's gonna see. Like, and I remember I was telling all my people, like my coach and everybody, like pretty much knew. So when game finished, I got my trophy, and I just felt like, yeah, like this is my time. Like that kind of just solidified like what I already knew in my mind,
Man.
And yeah, going back to football days, man. In my mind, I love the game so much. I stay away from it because I don't want to relive I was obsessed, man. I was like 7 hours a day.
Yeah, you obsessed, man. I wasn't.
I was obsessed. I was obsessed with football because it was my way out. So other people had different,
I understand. 100%.
But for me, I didn't feel like I was intelligent enough to be a rocket scientist or anything like that. Maybe being a police officer would have sounded cool for me, or doing something. I just had to do something physical that I was not like in a cubicle.
It's so many guys that made it to the NFL who had that same viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Like and I'm sure like you telling the story just kind of solidifies that it's probably hundreds of guys that the same way. Like they had the talent, they could have, and like we talked about before we started really getting onto it on film. Like just life just gives you that. You think you're supposed to go one way, and you very well could have went that way. Right? Like you had the talent. Like, but it's crazy how life just teaches you lessons, takes you to the things they feel like I think you need to continue to push forward.
Well, let me say this, when I played safety, and I'm 100% like, maybe my coach, my trainer, he's also an ex-NFL coach. So, I would have to humble myself and say I would give my film to him and have him analyze me, and he could give me a better critique of myself. Yeah. I think that I was really good at working out, doing drills. Like if you saw me do drills, you'd think, oh wow, this guy, he's it. Like I was fast. I did my drills all on all respect to my trainer. Like he literally, reflecting on it, he was charging people back then $200 a session or something like that, and I was privileged enough to go to he would just pick me up and I would be there. He just worked me out for free. He like met me at a gym working out, and he just, for whatever reason, like only the Most High knows why he chose me to be the one that he was gonna help like the way he did. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have gotten to that next level, because I was a good athlete, but I wasn't mentally the best I could be. And he kind of shifted my mind and made me work. Like he, without training and without pushing yourself to your limit, you could only go so far. But then you have somebody that sees something else in you, and he kind of pushed me to the next level, and he did that for me. So like, in my opinion, I think that if you watch film, you'd see like, like NFL would have been something that I could have done. I think I would have, but I stopped playing football before then, and I had an opportunity to go combine and play that. Like, I messed around with NFL a little bit. Like I spoke to guys, and I was like, maybe you should go and try. And I spoke to the coaches, and ultimately for me, I at that point, like my junior year of college, I became spiritual. Like I was like, I went vegan and this and that. And at that point I said, nah, I don't want to work. I don't want to play football. I feel like this is the Coliseum and they're making us, slaves and this and that. So I kind of removed myself from the game completely. But then I like my film, I was, I think, all county, what was it? All conference. Yeah. So as a junior, but I didn't want to continue. Like I was good enough. Like in my mind, I see myself like I think I was good enough to play in the league, like and be a starter. But I just didn't have that burning desire like I did when I was like 18, 19, 20. It became like a job in college, and at that point, it
happens to a lot of people, man.
It's something that I was just like a job, man. It's like right now we go outside and I'm like mad out of shape, and I could probably run a 4.5 straight up. but I'm out of shape as hell. You know, when I was, you know, I'm an athlete.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm
Always an athlete.
I'm an athlete
It
at
don't go
heart.
away.
Like
Yeah.
I love competition. I love sports. I love basketball. You know, and it's one of those things that I don't ever see myself not competing in some way, shape, or form. It's like therapy. You know, like warriors like that.
All males should be that way on some level. I mean,
Yeah.
you just always want to be competitive. It's one of the things that drives us. But yeah, I believe you.
Let me. Oh, brother, we gonna play basketball one day.
All right, let's get it.
Oh,
You know
I'm
what
in
I'm
that.
saying?
I'm in that.
You in that? You got?
Yeah.
There you go. You say
I'm
you.
crossing
Sharp
you.
shooter, bro.
I'm crossing you all the way up.
I'm Kyle Korver. I don't dribble the ball, bro. I play defense and I shoot three. That's all I do.
All I know is that I'm crossing you up somehow. I'm getting a rebound.
We'll see
by
about
you.
that.
We'll see.
This
Matter of fact-
on film, so we can always revert
Yeah,
back.
that's it. You
Yeah.
can always
Yo.
run the replay.
So
yeah.
wait, listen to this. So he's, you know, I stayed away from Madden for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And I was just saying this to like my employee today. I told him, I told her, I was like, man, I just messed up this week. I just literally gave this little brat $100. I knew I was gonna lose. Had to keep my word. So we bet. I got my butt whooped, man, and I had to pay up $100. It hurts. We're in like a depression. What is it?
You
Recession?
giving money away, man. So you ain't been on the sticks, and he took
Nah,
advantage.
hey,
of
Yeah,
it.
but he's a 19-year-old. You know,
Listen,
he's
listen,
19, man. He
All,
knows.
you got beat by a 19-year-old in Madden. And
Damn, that sounds horrible.
you know,
It
and
does.
I haven't played in a long time. You know, I got
That's what
back
they
into
say.
it to play
He's
you.
19. I don't know. What's a
Yeah,
long time?
Yeah, what is that?
Listen, I haven't owned a console in maybe like give or take 8 months. I haven't touched like a Madden. I haven't played. The first time I played Madden 24 was with you.
The last Madden I played was Madden 2019, and I played like one full season of that, and that was it. So, you know, maybe like I literally career mode 16 games, you know, so whatever, dog.
Okay,
See me in the sticks next time, man.
We're
You
running
still-
back.
still
Don't
feel
worry.
way about
We're
that
running
shit.
back. Yeah,
$100, man. That's all.
Competitive side of you. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know, that's
Double or
what-
nothing. That's
how
okay.
much-
Yeah.
Yo, and then what, you know what was crazy? I think I might have mentioned. I think I even said 1,000 at some. I was
Yeah,
like,
he started with 1,000.
I started
I
crazy. I was
I was like, hey, I don't have $1,000 to play for. All right.
He's like, I might be good, but I can't put
I
that
can't put
for
up
you
with that.
if I don't win.
But you know what it is, honestly, like I played Madden so much in my life, I'm really great at the game. The problem is that I'm not good at doing the audibles with the new setup.
It's crazy now.
Now it's you could
When
do.
you what's one of y'all talking about like how real
Yeah, it's the
game
simulator.
is,
It's-
right?
it's
It's
practically
real.
simulation.
Like, you can do stuff like kids now can be like it gives you a good depiction of what it's like to be a professional.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
quarterback,
With all the adjustments,
position,
of course. Yeah.
defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, coach. Like, cause it's crazy.
It's
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
Like
It's real.
so. Listen, my trainer, I don't. You know, Sam. He'll like he taught me how to break down plays. This is why I had a problem. Matter of fact, I blame him for my college problems. My problem in college was that I knew more than our defensive coordinator. Like, he trained me like he's an NFL coach. So you gotta understand, like this guy would sit me down and we'd watch one play for a whole hour and dissect every player, it was an NFL session. So, you know, I did that for years, and by the time I got to school, I just knew the game. So I would always be in good position and like pace. Like you wasn't scoring on me. I didn't give up a touchdown my whole career. Like I was the man in the back. Like I was a safety. But you know, it's a D2 school. Guys don't love football. They just like it.
They like it.
And it's also Pace University. I don't know if you know, but that is a private school. So it's like the guys that are there are just wealthy kids who, how you here right now?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I
oh, my
understand.
dad, you know, it was that kind of thing. So we just got spanked all the time. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't my problem. I mean, I did my part. Yo, look, I swear to you, the school was so bad, they had me listed as a wide receiver. Like, on the website, like, it wasn't, I don't know what
They do that in high school.
they was doing, but I was in college. And, yo, you want to know what's crazy? When I went to Milford Academy, they did the same thing. And I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, this is some kind of disrespect. Like, what kind of disrespect? How am I getting this? Yo, I'm not a wide receiver. I'm over here, and this is like the whole season. And I would say it, and then the coaches don't care. They never fixed it.
Yeah.
So it's just, but I'll be like wide receiver with mad tackles, no yards. But
That's how you know it was like D2.
Yeah, whatever though, man. It is what it is, Anyway, another question that I had, for you was, what was your first day in the league like?
So, my first day in the league. So like when you first come out, they have rookie OTAs, right? So now I don't want to get off story, but like I got injured. I got into an altercation and I almost lost my life. So I was injured. So I went there. My first interaction, like I didn't participate. I just watched, right? But it was like none of the older guys were there. But it was surreal. It was like, yo, like
you made it.
You here. But you made it, but you ain't make it. Cause it's constantly a grind.
Oh yeah,
you already know.
Once you get there, it's a grind.
It was first I gotta get on the field because I'm not even on the field. So I'm not even on the field participating with the other rookies or whatever second year players. And it was more of like, this is real. This is an opportunity. Now what you gonna do? Cause it was that transition again. Like you didn't get drafted, right? You came in through the back door. And they already tell you, like, the chances of making the team is
slim to none.
So it was just like, all right, you got to go prove yourself again.
I was good with the practice squad.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And it was just like
300,000?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't 300,000. It's 300,000 now, maybe.
Yeah.
Inflation is crazy. But, like, the funny thing is when I actually was able to get on the field, I think I played well. And that was one of the reasons why even once I was released by New York, the Giants, I still had opportunities. I was flying out every Tuesday because every Tuesday they bring in guys, right? And I was everywhere. I was Cleveland. I remember going to Cleveland. I went to Carolina. I went to Denver. Like I was flying everywhere every Tuesday. But I was back on my couch at home, my pop's couch. Like it just happened. You come in, you out.
Yeah,
you come in, you out.
In and out. In and out.
So it was like, yo, why am I not sticking? But I had good film, so people were flying me in. And obviously I got into Baltimore and it worked out. But it was surreal because like I had went from a kid just trying to get into college. Basically, I was saying I'm trying to get into college. I was just trying to get a job. Like I worked at Hardee's and at TJ Maxx when I was in high school, and I was like, I know I didn't want to get a job. I wasn't ready, right? And then it was okay. Now you got a chance to possibly play in the league. You watch people playing, and I was never one of the crazy kids that was like, I gotta go to the NFL. I gotta go to the NFL. I was just always trying to find that next.
That was me.
That next thing. Yeah, I was like, I can't even see that far, bro. I'm trying to get into college.
But I was trying to be in the league when I was like 10 years old. Seriously, I'm gonna make it. That's my dream.
It's a lot of cats I played with, and those are like the Ray Lewis's and the Aries because they knew.
So you got a chance to witness the tenacity, the love, the dedication, I was just speaking about Ray Lewis the other day because I remember in, the NFL Network, I remember one day hearing how he had mentioned that he had a perfect game. And a lot of people, like, I just remember sitting down and watching film with my trainer. So when he said he had a perfect game, like, I overstood what he was saying. And I said, man, that's crazy. But I remember doing the research. Like I went and watched that whole game, and I tried to analyze myself, because I just loved the game. He had a perfect game, and he literally took every read. He took every step. He literally had a perfect defensive game, like for his position. Incredible. Like, how was that?
It was. I had an opportunity. Listen, I'll always be blessed. I had an opportunity to play with some guys, some hounds, some dogs. Right? Yeah. So. The thing with him, man, is like these guys study film.
Yeah.
Like I thought I knew what film study was, but I realized it wasn't. Like it would have everybody over. I think I got film. Somebody had sent me film. One of my old teammates sent me film. He would cater food. We would come over, and we would just watch film
all day.
Whatever we need there. You got food. You want to something to drink, whatever you want, but we watching film, we talking about the game, we getting ready, right? Whether you gonna play a snap or you just gonna run on special teams, you're there. Like Ray would come through, and like it was just it was one of those things where like you kind of be like, yo, this guy. He had a place in his house where he could watch film. Like it was direct feed to his house from the same stuff we could see at the facilities.
Yeah.
And that's how. But any of these guys, and now at this time, it's probably even crazier now. But
that's what they love to do. Like my trainer,
they watch film all day. Like you learn. I learned more about just listening to these guys talk than like one. I had two secondary coaches. One coach coached the safeties, one coached the corners. I played both when I was there. I played corner when I first got there, and I played a little bit more safety just to get on the field because it was hard. But bro, like this guy, I never remember. We call him DT, Dennis Thurman. He played for the Cowboys, like old school. You know Dennis Thurman, smart guy. He said something to me one day in practice. This is how I knew I still hadn't. It was still levels. It's levels to everything. He was like, "Yo, Jamaine, when you see this guy's doing this, you do that." And I'm like, "What?" Like, and I understood football. I had a football IQ.
Yeah.
And I'm playing.
Can you be more specific with what he said?
Okay,
like,
so he was saying, if I can recall, he said, okay, so Jamaine, receiver comes down, number 2 comes down and cracks in, right? So your eyes normally, if it's a safety, your eyes go straight to number 1.
Yeah.
Right? Number 2 leaves, you go to number 1. And he said something about the lineman.
When you say crack down, you mean like
I say crack down,
like
but
a
he
crack
leaves.
block, or
if I have my picture, whether it's a crack block, if it's a crack block, I got 2 things. So like, I know down and distance. So I know it's third and short. We know what this team likes to do. We know what hash we on. Like
fill in the gap. You got to replace.
I can narrow it down to kind of see what they want to do based on personnel, where they are. And it was something where this was practice, luckily, where like, so like, you know, guy leaves. If it's a pass now, I look to number 1 because I'm the walk down safety. But now if he cracks down, I feel that's different. I can also see the end man online. He said something about it was an offset tight end, like a U back, and he went away.
Motioned out. You had now
on a snap. He went behind the line.
Oh.
So whether he going out or he cross blocking,
it was counter.
It was maybe, but the way he put it is, he knew what the play was based off of like 4 different things. Now I only knew 2. I knew number 2 left. I knew it looked number 1.
I got you.
I knew
your read steps basically like
it was 2 more steps that I hadn't even, and all my time in football I didn't even know. And I was like, and I literally asked him, like I didn't even care because I was really cool, and I was like, how am I supposed to know that?
Right.
Like
was it like it's one of those situations where I remember one of the things that I learned was my trainer told me about watching the center. He's like, you know, you draw a triangle with the center, the 2 guards, and the quarterback. He was like, if you just watch those 3 guys, you're gonna know exactly what's going on. Yeah. So I was 100%. Like, all right, cool. And then that game,
it's like opens your minds up. But then it's like, but you know football at that time when he said that to you.
Yeah, I
and
thought
then it's like that you just hit next level.
The only thing like at that point, because I was in high school, he had told me that, and what I really like my little secret was like, if the lineman's fingertips were white, it's gonna be a run.
That's old school.
That's the old school stuff, you know.
And they're light on it, they're pulling back.
They're pulling back. So I was like, I know what they're doing, because you know back in the day, it wasn't like today, you know.
Yeah, like you learn as a safety, like you can read the lineman and tell them what the play is.
I played linebacker back then.
Yeah,
so
you gotta know.
Actually, I was a rover, so I was really a walk down safety,
which is still a linebacker.
Yeah,
it's still like you gotta be able to do it all.
Yeah, man, can you give me at least a little deep coverage? Sheesh.
Nah, man, Virginia Tech had those, so we know rovers were, but they had to be able to do it all.
There was a guy who went to Virginia Tech. His name was Kevin Walker, and he ran a 4.18. This was my speed trainer when I went to the sports university. It was a gym out in Fairfield, New Jersey. And this guy, man, when I tell you, he literally ran a 4.18, and he was gonna go to the Olympics, but then he got hurt or something, whatever.
Yeah.
And man, he ran like because he was like, when I never met somebody that ran that fast, but then I've heard about like Devin Hester and things like that, like because me coming up, Devin Hester was like the first like fast guy in the NFL that I was just like, whoa, like he's like beyond fast. And then my trainer, he ran that. He said that he ran that and he had the proof, like, pamphlets and shit of him doing that and all that. But he ran he was teaching me how to properly run the techniques and how to keep my arms closed and all that.
Definitely.
And I remember I was already, to me, I was like the fastest guy on my team already, so I'm like fast. So I'm running and I'm sprinting, like going all out, and I just see this guy jogging next to me, like looking at my technique as I'm running.
Watching you.
And I felt so like, all right, there's levels to this.
It's levels, always levels, man.
There's levels to
always
this, man. D1 players, I'm big on that, on the mind state of a D1, D2, D3. Like
it's different,
brother. I try to tell everyone I work with, like, right now it's what, 11:23, blah blah blah. Like, I'll be up till 2-3 in the morning working, right? I got a D1 mind state. Like, I am not taking no for an answer. I am going to bust my butt. Like, I'm going to outwork. I will die before I quit. I'm that guy. Like, I'm literally, if right now you tell me let's plank and you're fit, like you're in shape, like you're good.
He's like, yeah, you're not beating me.
You're not, yo, bro. We could do this as a test. Like, I will not lose. I will literally just until my body goes.
Just shake it.
Until my body just says, all right.
Nah, man, that's the attitude. That's how you gotta be.
There was an experiment done, and this, I mean, I just learned this the other day. There was an experiment done with mice. They said that they threw mice in like a pool, and they let them swim, right? And then in 15 minutes, like they would time them, and in 15 minutes, like the mice just gave up and was ready to die. Like, he just stopped swimming. He was just like,
that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, he just fatigued, right? And they saved the mice. Then like 45 minutes later, they put the mice back in, and then 15 minutes, and then like after the mice couldn't survive, like they would get them out. Yeah. And then the next time they did it again, and how much longer do you think that mice like treaded water for?
How much longer?
Yeah, how much longer? Like, do you think like?
Nah, I think he just knew.
15 minutes he was gone?
He knew that if somebody was gonna pick him up.
Brother,
picking him up at the 15 minutes.
90 hours.
Really?
Of treading water. 90 hours of treading water from 15 minutes to, because and the guy that was explaining it said it's the belief now that he's gonna be saved that just kept him, it's
like I just gotta go a little bit longer.
Yeah, so but like when I heard that story, I thought to myself, I always thought, I just had the belief that if I did not continue to push myself, how I would feel when I finished working out was going to be worse than the pain that I'm feeling at the moment, because I'm going to feel like a failure. And I'd rather not feel like I literally would, like, I didn't want that, feeling of inadequacy. So it's like, nah, man, I gotta, it's like being in competition more with myself. And then it's like, I'm probably going to lose, man. You work out. Like, what am I talking about?
But it's the mentality, man.
But it's the mentality of,
gotta have it.
May
Respect.
not be, I'm not going to go to Mike Tyson and be like, let's go round for round, old man, but I probably would do it. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Get knocked out just to learn,
Nah, man. That's good.
Yeah, but it's just, I really do enjoy competition.
Yeah, you got to,
friendly
man.
competition. I think is really good for the people.
It's healthy.
It's healthy. So tell me about your training. Like, I was seeing what you were doing on your Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's great work. What inspired you?
So, my mom has dementia, so she's in a home in Virginia Beach, back in Virginia, where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I was done with football, I mean, obviously all athletes know how to train, they know how to work out, and I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? The transition is the hardest thing for an athlete. The longer you play, the harder it is the transition
to get away from it.
Yes, because you like you said, you got to figure out now it's a different life, different story. You start a new path. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and people be like, "Oh, why don't you train me? Because you're an athlete." Now, pay you mind, I didn't know what I was doing. I knew how to be pushed. I know how to have a coach. I knew how the coach tell me to run up a wall, I run up a wall. You know what I mean? Do 100 pull-ups, do whatever. And I was training these people, like, just not even like as a business model, or I was just training people. I was like, what am I doing? And I had no clue what I was doing. Like, literally had old ladies doing stuff like they were going into a combine in a couple months, and I was like, yo. I should probably get some training. I should probably
Yeah.
take a course or something. So, um, like I was, one of the things I would do with my mom is we would hit these stairs when I bought like my first house, and back home, and we would go up the stairs, and she was just out of shape, bro, out of shape. And it didn't occur to me then as much as it does now, because obviously that's what I do all the time. But like one of the reasons or one of the things that played a role, and there are plenty other things that played a role in her being diagnosed, was the lack of some type of physical
Exercise.
fitness. Yeah, like it plays a role statistically. Like she was, and most people in my family and cultures now are right very very sedentary with their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Whether they're sitting at a cubicle or they don't move around. And I felt like, and it took me a while to understand this. I didn't get this until like having these questions asked and me trying to understand why I do what I do. Is I think I'm trying to, and I want to prevent that from happening to another mother, another father, another, someone's kid. Like I felt like I put a little bit of that burden on me. Like if I would have worked out with her more, and it was just, even if it was just take her to the track more, because we did it like once or twice and we never did it again.
Right.
I didn't push it. I didn't, and I felt like if I had done that, I would still be able to have a conversation with her, other than just going to see her and she can't talk.
Right.
And I kind of take that and from the studying and things I learned, is it directly has a correlation in diseases and things like dementia or Alzheimer's. Like it's tested, shows they
did you go down the health rabbit hole once that happened, to find ways to, you like ran into Dr. Sabi online and things like that?
Yeah, like you do because and I'm a very optimistic person at life. Like everything I'm optimistic about, everything. Like it's always a way out, even when it's not. And if it's not a way out, then I learn something from it.
Right.
So next time, but like I always felt like she would get better. I felt like it would be something we could do, something we could figure out, something that you learn. And I went down that hole. I still do from time to time, because I'm still giving you tests and outcomes from recent tests. Like, so I'm still obviously always looking. And I felt like, just I could have done a better job as a son just taking her out, just
right.
being there,
just
like
be more
so
present in her
every client is that for me now. So I don't even train athletes. Like the people you see me train is everyday people,
Right.
like owners of businesses, high execs, nurses, like people who some of them are very motivated, and some of them know they don't have a choice. They got to change their physical fitness if they want to continue to enjoy life and stay on this earth. So I'm training people for everyday life.
Wow.
Not for a game.
Just to be healthy, to move around, to feel good.
To hold your kids, to be able to carry the kid in one hand and a grocery bag in the other. Like just basic stuff, man.
Simple things
that we take for granted, because a lot of people can't do it.
That's crazy.
A lot of people can't do it. And
I was watching a video. Excuse me. I was watching a video of this man on Instagram. He had his girl jump on top of him, and then he picked up his like second eldest daughter on one arm, and he looked like he was chiseled up.
Yeah.
He works out. So his girl, his daughter, and then he picked up his other daughter, and he was like, I think it said something like, a real man should be able to carry his family on his back or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, but it was something
a bit much, but I get the point. I get the point. I don't know if I can pick up everybody, but I get it.
Depending on your wife might gain a little weight. On your back is probably not the best. The knees going. But
it's real though, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things where health is absolutely a necessity. I make it a point to work out. I fell off. My mom passed. I kind of just was gone for like 2 years. Health wise, I didn't take care of my health, my hair. I didn't even do my hair for 2 years, and I was in a dark place. But I came out of that, and I'm coming out of it still, and I'm still getting back to myself. And I'm, like I said today, I'm not taking my steps back into my vegan lifestyle. So it's just it is like daily things that people need to do to kind of better themselves. And really, I don't believe in like like diets and things like that.
No.
It's more like lifestyle. That's the only real
Oh.
way for you to actually. You have to change your routine, your lifestyle, and what you do on a daily. It has to become your lifestyle. For me, at least,
You speak in my language. They're like, I don't believe diets are a fad. They're not a real
Mhm.
thing. Like
Yeah.
that's no one can hold a diet. If you look at people who do shows, like these physique shows, like they're usually some of them die early, and it's not something that's sustainable. So they're doing it for the show.
like
And
Mr. Olympia. He was. I mean, that's what people when they think of health, like they think that's healthy.
Nah, it's not. It's not. And listen, like I don't think anybody needs to look like a comic book figure. Like I don't think that's the goal. I think the goal is to be able to move around, feel good. If you need to push something, a couch or on some slides and something, and do that without messing up your back. And the biggest thing is to age well. At some point, it's just about aging well. Like look good as long as you can, feel good as long as you can. Like you got people running around here at 90 and they still going on trips and doing stuff, and they doing something right. I just think that life at some point becomes more about how you age, how you look, how good you feel. And I feel like your kids, the people that come behind you, that's sometimes like you can tell them everything. You can tell them you do this and that, but if you're not doing it, if you're not taking that opportunity to show them by how you look, then
Right, because you set the example that they're seeing it with their own eyes.
100%.
My father is healthy. My father is what he
Exactly.
says. He has discipline.
your
Absolutely.
kids will follow what you do, not what you say.
Right.
And healthy habits. I really believe your habits are your life. Like you look at someone's habits, they'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
You know, if your habits but to kind of go back to what you said about diets, like I think people should just be aware of what they're eating. So like some of my clients, like I'll like send me a picture of your food. Send me a picture of all your meals. Like that's all I need you to do that for 3 weeks, 2 days. Like it doesn't matter. And I can tell you a lot about whatever. And it's not that a lot of times people try to eat good for those days that they're sending me the pictures. And that's not what I'm looking for. And I'll see right through it. And most people will. But like I'm just telling you, like, listen, like you ate this, this, and this. This might not be good for you, but it's not, doesn't mean you can't have it. But you can't eat like that every day. Right?
Yeah,
you
like
need to,
every day.
You need to get your protein in. You need to get, I'm not telling you got to eat like something out of a magazine. Like you want to go, like literally if you want to go to Chick-fil-A, you want to go to Burger King, you can do that. You can't do that every day, all day. Right?
That's where problems come
some
in.
people choose not to touch that stuff. More power to them. Some
I'm one of
people
those.
too.
Yeah, you're not gonna catch
Yeah,
me.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
But some people will go, and some people won't drink. Some people will drink. But like if you drink every day,
it's gonna be a problem.
it's gonna be a problem, right?
Yep.
Now I'm not saying you can't, like life is what it is. If you want to have a cigar, you want to have this, but like you can't do it every day. So it's balanced.
Like my grandma was 100% an alcoholic. Like she was a functional, is Dominican Republic, so I mean probably 60% of the population out there is like alcoholic, right? So she would go outside and have like a chair and sit down, and that's the culture. And she would drink till she was drunk, and then she'd go inside and go to sleep and wake up, and that was like her lifestyle. And she lived till she was 87 years old. And I always thought, like, you have people who I'm going raw vegan, 70 years old, and they hitting the ground.
It's crazy.
It's something, I think it's something with your mind, your spirit. It's a mind, body, soul kind of connection that God has to be made in order for your body, your mind, and your soul to be fed life. You get what I'm saying? Like you have to find a way to have a reason to live.
That's crazy. But what did we talk about before when we first started this conversation about physical, mental,
spiritual?
All of that needs to be in line.
Is that do you imply those, or what is it? Do you add those techniques into your training?
So yeah, I do. I actually, I surround myself with people that I think give off that vibe. So if I can't help you, I can forward you to somebody that can. But I do think that mental health and being in a place is a good thing. I always tell people, like, if you stressed out, go to the gym. Like, you know what I mean? You don't need to go get a bottle. You don't need to go fast food. Go to the gym. Go lift something heavy. Like, and that might not be your vex. Just maybe drop down. Just give me 50. Just do 50. Like, it'll see if it passes. Like, you just gotta know yourself. Everybody handles it differently. But I 100% think that you can't just be in shape from a physical standpoint, not mentally, not have your spiritual life in shape. Because it's all just, if you want to use that terminology, we're in shape.
I'm 100% convinced. Like, I know this for a fact at this point. Health comes with habit. You cannot be healthy having bad habits. It's like you can't live wrong and die right. You know what I mean? You're gonna have some kind of you smoke cigarettes, your lungs are gonna give out at some point. You're gonna die a horrible death from that, or so you can extrapolate that to whatever, eating McDonald's, eating chicken all the time, eating meat, doing all these things. Like, at some point, people have to realize, yeah, you can eat it sometimes, like you said, maybe once a week, and if even that might be too much.
Might be.
Yeah, it's maybe portion control. Like me, my biggest problem is, I'll eat one meal a day, but it's like whatever I'll order something. I'll like Uber eat something, and it'll be like pasta, or carbs, or I'll have like, I just had the sandwich, not healthy stuff. So for me, what works for me when I get, like, for me to lose weight and feel healthy, feel my best, I have to go cold turkey, raw vegan. Like, that's for me what works. And then having like smoothies and things that I like to eat, but in proportion, like having portion control, because that's my biggest challenge. What are some of the things that you see, like some of the big issues or problems that your clients come to you and say?
It's usually a lack of discipline, like, and they don't understand it. Habits, man. Somebody great said it, and I don't know, when I say great, I mean like a philosopher. You show me your habits, I'll show you your future. Like, that's a thing, man. That's a real thing. So a lot of times it's habits, but they don't even know. Like, they need somebody from the outside. It's like when somebody looking at you and you so close to something you can't see it, but they can tell you, like, yo, you.
How would you improve your habits? What are some of the steps to take?
So for me, the biggest thing is I journal a lot. I write down a lot. I haven't journaled as much the last few years, especially since I had my second kid. But I either journal or I take 10 minutes, just quiet, just to, like, what you call it, meditating, or you call it just like going to a place, right? And I kind of recenter myself. And a lot of people, like, even my wife doesn't even know that I do it like as much as I do. But for me, when I'm approaching a client with that, first thing I do is I need to see, I need to identify those habits. And I'm like, you get to know a person from working with them, and you figure it out real quickly. Like, if you've been doing it long enough, I kind of know, like, okay, this person is an emotional eater, not for quantity, but they want to go get sugar. When I'm stressed out, I like sugar. If I'm really stressed out, I can find myself at a Reese's, because I love Reese's, right? That's my thing. But I know that about myself, right?
You said a Reese's, like
a Reese's. Like, well, they come in twos.
That's
but,
crazy.
My bad, I slipped on that one. So yeah, so I like that though. So like, I know that about me.
Yeah. Like,
right. So my habit is, and remember I said 50 push-ups.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
You just drop down and do 50,
or I do something.
Yeah.
Like, we have I'll park my car somewhere, so I gotta run to it in the morning. Like, right, just crazy stuff. Like, just that keeps me sharp.
Keeps you sharp.
And it keeps me there. So I take these little steps, and I try to find those steps for my clients. So in the sense of, like, okay, like, some people fast 1 meal a day. I fasted for like 7 years. I would fast until like 2-3 o'clock, and I really believe, I read studies on it.
Intermittent fasting.
And I mean, I really believe that for my age, I was able to continue to look well and age well because of that. I really 100% believe that. I read studies on it, and I really believe that. And the thing is with your insulin level is that whenever you eat food, whether it's healthy or not, it can be a leaf, it can be lettuce, it can be a cheeseburger, your insulin level goes up when food comes into your system. You can't lose weight when your insulin level's up, right? So when you're fasting, if you
Interesting.
think about a mean line, all right, eat food, your insulin level's over that line. Don't eat food, you're under that line where you can actually have something.
So
So
you could lose weight.
you have an opportunity to lose
Right,
weight. It's
right,
not
right,
guaranteed. But what happens is
Mm.
food is too much readily available to our culture now.
Right, right.
Like you can Uber, somebody bring it to your door. Like
it's so horrible. It's a bad.
it's bad, but
bad.
you know it's the world we live in, so you have to adapt, right? So what do? Like okay, listen, like you're not if you're gonna eat if you can't fast, right? I know you're overeating, but you can't fast. This is me having that fictitious conversation with you. All right, so let's say this is what I want you to try. I want you to try to find 25 or more grams from the time you wake up from your fast, right? So I want you to drink some water, like, because you're coming from a fasted state, you're already dehydrated, and I want you to try to find 30 grams. What do you like to eat? You like yogurt? Okay, bam, let's do yogurt. Oh, you don't like milk, dairy? Cool. You like, whatever, like a whey protein? Okay, let's do that. And you have to find those things that work within their realm, but so they can do it. It's
It
still
doesn't
easy.
stress
Doesn't stress them out.
Yeah.
I don't want to change you. I want you to add this because it's gonna help you live longer. It's gonna help you feel better. And you trying to get them to adapt different habits that are positive.
Right.
And it's always a way. Oh no, I don't want to eat in the morning. Okay, fine. You don't have to eat in the morning. When do you want to eat? 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Okay, bam. So let's take that same thing and we'll do that. We'll push it back. Like, right? But people want to feel like they're making progress. Like people always want to feel like they're making
Right.
progress. So a lot of times I always say my job is kind of to find progress, find beauty in the struggle, as J. Cole says it, right?
Mhm.
Like you want to find that win. So like I might have a woman who's stuck at 140 pounds. But I'm like, okay, she's looking at is she's weighing herself every day. Jamaine, why am I not losing weight? And I'm like, what are those pants that you had from a year ago? You try those on? Try those on for me, when you get up tomorrow before you do anything. Now the pants fit. Oh, I can get halfway up. I couldn't get them on. I can wear them all. Like that's a win.
Yeah.
You have to let them know,
small battles.
small battles. Yeah. It's never one big thing. Like the guy that you watching on TV who has 100 million hits, or Kobe who took the last shot. You didn't watch all the failures or all the little.
You wasn't
steps
shooting
they
with me
took.
in the
You
gym.
wasn't shooting in the gym. 100%. So it's like you have to get them. Most people don't recognize those things. Like you can make a decision to go left or right today. So you could have woke up and you could have went and got a cheeseburger, or you could have made a salad, grilled chicken salad.
That's one of the things that I think, not only is it it's like the cornerstone of health, right? It's you want to be healthy, and you don't immediately see it, so you stop.
Exactly. Immediate gratification.
Yeah, it's this is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
That's our
right?
society.
Yeah, it's like what is it? What is the term, like when you're a microwave baby?
Microwave.
You're a
baby.
microwave baby.
Yeah.
You don't want to sit there and turn the stove on and wait for it to cook.
Oh my God. How many athletes have y'all said? What's the point guard for the Mavericks now? He was in Brooklyn. Kyrie.
Oh, Kyrie Irving.
Like the whole beauty and the struggle, the whole idea that like you gotta enjoy the process. You gotta enjoy the process of the work, because if you can love the process, and you don't have to, everybody's not gonna be like that. Everybody's not gonna approach it the same way. If you can love the process, like fall in love with the process. The process is the part that sucks. That's running the sprints. That's eating the foods that's gonna help you get to your goal. If you can learn to love that and just forget about the end result. Just forget about it. The people who do that are the people that you read about. It's the people we talk about on while we on these casts. Like, and that's what you, on a lesser level, you need to be able to get people to see that.
Is part of your job, I guess, being it's like you're almost counseling and editing people's bad habits by instituting new, better habits for them to learn how to cultivate their eating habits, their mind, and then comes the like game day, which is when they're at the gym or when they're going through these sessions that do you approach everyone with like a basic standard workout, or do you tailor it specifically for the individual and where they're at and what they're, like, let's say I want to bulk, right? Would you tailor your workout specifically to, my diet first, or would you kind of overall do like a whole wellness? Like, how do you go about that whole situation?
So it's normally sometimes you gotta know the person too, because like some people, like if it's a gigantic change, you can't just throw them in, right? You gotta ease them in. So most people, I don't even touch their diet right away.
Oh,
That's that thing where I'm like, send me what you eat. I want to see what's going on, and I tell them, listen, I'm not. Like some people feel like they need to dial it up and make it perfect. No, I want to have an idea what you eat. I can't help you if you're gonna dial it up and dress it a certain way. So I don't even touch the diet. I treat everybody the same in the beginning, in the sense of like I give you basic exercises, whether you're a novice or you're a little bit more advanced. And I remember I don't work with athletes. If somebody really wants to train me or they got a kid or something, I might do something. But mainly I work with the everyday person, the mom of 2. The dad who's like 40 and maybe his wife wants to have another kid and he need to get his stuff together because he ain't gonna be able to run behind that baby.
Yeah. So
right?
You're really out there saving lives.
Yeah, that's really how I'm approaching it. So I don't touch their diet right away. And I'll tell them, I'm like, listen, I'm not even gonna, I just want to see how you move. I want to see what's going on. Where's some cheeks in the armor? Like, where can we work from there? And in that sense, it starts off baseline. I treat everybody the same. It's like I don't know you. Even if I know you are a little bit more advanced than my last client or Susie over here, with 4 kids, I'm still going to treat you the same because it's going to give me an outline of how to move forward. Now, you might hop skip somebody else because you're a little more advanced, but I do start off everybody. But I don't give everybody, I have staple exercises and staple movements that are for a lifestyle. Right. Again, everything about is like trying to improve your lifestyle that they will do. But when it comes down to it, it's individualized, like based on what you need to work on, what I see you need to work on, and also a combination of what you tell me you want to improve about yourself.
Right. So it's really your holistic healer
approach.
Holistic healer approach to training. When I did sports, I remember doing, feeling the need to, I got to squat 430 pounds or whatever to, that's, you in the league, or you playing a professional sport, or even in college, like you competing, you're working out, you're picking up heavy weights, and what I come to realize is like that's really not the healthiest longevity. That's not the best for longevity. It's kind of it's almost like the best thing to do is really just go for a walk, go hiking, go do something where it's functional movements. Gardening, like I think, for example, that gardening is probably one of the best things for women. Like bending down, works your knees, your shoulders, but it's working your shoulders where it's not gonna define your shoulders to be all like manly. It's gonna be good for it's like just different things that may or may not be. And again, I'm not a trainer. I'm just looking at it like walking with a gallon of water might be, the thing you got to do.
So when I agree with you. No, you're right. You might not be a trainer, but you onto something. I think that the easiest way to get people to understand is you have to relate to them. And I think that's a very relatable way. So I think that like hikes are great. I think after meals, you should go for a 10-minute walk if you can, like impeding, like you don't have kids or something else going on. Or maybe you get on the bike and just play around. Like I believe all types of things, like those things, washing the car, more on the line, like those movements. I've seen people reach into a trash can and pull out a bag and pull their back out because their body just not used to that movement, and they're now you're sedentary for a month or so, and now you're gaining weight. So, it is very simple things that can get you there. Now, don't give me. I'll tell you one thing that I'm 100% believer of. So I feel like, and it's a lady, Dr. Gabrielle, Lilo. She has a book, and like she has this new study, or she says that people are worried about losing fat. They need to be more enticed to gain muscle. So muscle and fat don't coexist. They can, but like if you're building muscle, somebody that's really muscular doesn't have much fat.
It's
right?
crazy you say that because Joe Carini was 360 pounds, and he was 5'7". So imagine 360 pounds, 5'7".
That's crazy.
This guy was like that. Pull up, yo. Can you pull up Joe Carini for me, please?
That's
Joe,
crazy.
Joe Carini, and he was. I think he like squatted like 1,200, something crazy, like ridiculous. But you poked his stomach and it was pure muscle.
Yeah.
Like it was like unreal. It was kind of weird. Like he would walk around looking crazy, but
he's probably strong as an ox too.
Oh my, yo, all right. So story: Tiki Barber put him on his knees, like grabbed his hand and squeezed his hand and put him on his knees like that, and that was his thing. His grip was like, look, that guy right there. Oh, look, him and Rondé.
I've definitely heard of him. Heard of him. I thought his name did sound familiar.
Yeah, he is. God rest his soul.
Yeah,
great. I mean, I remember going. He was my trainer for 5 years, and he would just know where I was at. Like he would look at me, and he would absolutely know. Like he never wrote anything down.
Yeah,
he'd say, go do this, and the third. And I'm like, all right. And then I came back and, what's next? And he just would have his routine already. And every single guy that he knew what you did. It was like he was a master of his craft.
It's special, man. It's few trainers out there, people that are in the game like that. And like you say, like I definitely know who you're talking about now. I had to see the picture.
Yeah.
But it's a thing now where I think resistance training. And resistance doesn't mean you have to lift 100-pound dumbbells. Like resistance training means lifting something of mass. That is something that will help you age better. Because what happens is the muscle isn't strong. The muscle's connected to the bone. The biggest thing that you see happens with more mature people. And I'm talking about, I mean, you could be 50, 60, but like you got to start thinking about those things in your 30s and 40s. You can play around in the 20s. Some people are athletes, so they naturally have it. But like you got to start to think about building those habits. We go back to the habits, right? And then, listen, you ain't got to train. You don't have to do CrossFit. But like get on a machine, move something of mass, move something that is a little tough to move, like a press or overhead or carrying something. It doesn't have to necessarily be the gym, but you do need to keep your body acclimated or introduce your body to moving something you can start off with body weight yourself, right? But then at some point you graduate to some type of mass resistance trainer.
My cousin, he used to be very skinny. Like I think he was like 170, 6'3", 170.
Yeah.
Not strong at all. And he got into this Andrew Tate mode. Like he just is in his work mode where he now, he's, it's beautiful to see people really self-improve and saying it and then doing it is two different things. As you know, it's like everyone says it, but to actually see somebody do it, I give so much respect, and it's inspiring to see somebody close to you have the results that they say that they're going to gain.
Yeah, true.
And I've seen him, go from just sending me random stuff to now he's sending me like shoulder workouts. He's sending me things to show me how to do pull-ups better. And I also used to be a trainer for Sports University. I was 17, 18, so I'm not, a professional trainer as yourself. But I know my way in the gym. I've been in, my whole life. And I remember just like seeing the things that he's sending me and saying, wow, I never did that. Or this is a new technique, a new training method, a new whatever. And I see it work for him, and it makes me say, you know what, I'm going to I started doing this thing where I do one pull-up, just one pull-up. Just do one pull-up all the way up, chest I try to stick my chest out, use my back as much as my cousin put me up on this. I would go up, go down, wait like 2-3 seconds, 4 seconds, and then go do another one, and then go down, and then wait maybe 5 seconds, and just do one. And man, you'd be surprised. Just doing that consistently, I've been getting stronger, and my pull-up is getting
process.
It's getting back to where it used to be. I remember I used to do 20 pull-ups like it's nothing. Now 30 pounds, a little heavier. Shoot,
20.
Man.
Just think about that one.
That one push-up.
Amazing, man. It's a good story.
Yeah, the power of one. You know what I'm saying? Just doing one. So yeah, man. Like, What are you want to get into anything controversial? Any Andrew Tate topics?
So
yeah, what are some of the things you know that go through your mind?
Well, one thing we talked about is the vegan.
Oh yeah,
meat and non-meat. All right. I don't think I'm really picking a side because again, like, I think that you should do what makes you happy.
Mm-hmm. Tell me how you really feel.
I do. I think there's a place for high quality meat. I think you eat too much of it is bad. I think a little bit won't kill you, but I do think the type of meats that's out here and the way we're cooking them, the oils and different things, I do think that it makes it worse when you think about it, because it's like, okay, well, I don't eat meat because meat will kill you. And like, yeah, if you eating like meat that's come from just because it's say FDA approved or it's not, it wasn't raised the right way. It wasn't exactly, it wasn't organic. Like, I try to make sure that that's the type of stuff that we bring in the house. So I think I'm not 100% with like just, I don't think you have to be 100% meat free, but I also think if you're eating too much meat and if you're eating the wrong types of meats, it can be very, very like detrimental to your health. Like, I do agree with that. And the thing we talked about, the odor and the smells, like meat carcass does rot. It's dead meat. Flesh, yep. So like some people tell you, like, I'm very big into testosterone too. And like a couple guys that I follow and I've listened to, like they're against it. It's like, yo, don't eat dead meat. It doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help you in any way, right? So it's not even like, so like some things about it I do agree with, and some things about it I'm like, oh, okay, but like also again, like I deal in a field where like I'm come across people who are vegans, vegetarians, carnivores,
what's
keto.
That diet where they only eat meat? You know what I'm talking about? Jordan Peterson. Are you familiar with Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, definitely.
He like ate like only meat is the name for it.
Only steak. What is it called? It's not the paleo. What is it called?
Yeah, I think it's
paleo. Is it paleo?
Is it?
Yeah, I think it might be paleo because it's like meat, eggs, and
potatoes.
and like not even potatoes. It's just
potatoes,
like
just meat.
It's just meat and like stuff like that. Like all animal products. What's the girl that she used to date the basketball player for the Lakers? Iggy Azalea.
Yeah.
So I saw a thing, and I'm pretty sure it was her, on where she was talking about she ate flank steak or some type of steak 3 times a day. That's it. And at dinner she would have a flank steak with a little bit of soup.
But how does that?
And the guy was like, "How are you alive?"
Yeah. How do you? But here's my thing. I don't. Again, I just don't know. You know what I think the body. This is really what I think the body. What ends up happening. I think if you eat the same thing over and over and over and over again, I think your body
general adaptation.
Yeah, it just adapts to it, and then it then you're good.
You're good.
But if you're eating the like, if you eat like that and something that has like something that may cause like, inflammation in the part of your body, then it's gonna really over time cause that. But if it's something that's not really that bad for you and your body could recover from whatever, because anything that you put in anything that you really put in your body is gonna affect you to a degree. You know what 100%. I'm saying? Even if it's vegetables, like you can't just eat. There's some things cause ammonia or
you listen to Dr. Selby's things, like, like some of the things, like he was like, broccoli's bad for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so it's crazy. Like you'd be like, damn, like what can I eat? Like,
because it's a nitrogen fixator,
exactly.
And it ends up, and then it creates ammonium in the blood, blah blah blah.
It gets crazy. It gets confusing to the average Joe.
There's a doctor, Black Power doctor. Mm-hmm. His name's Lalila Africa. I don't know if you ever, or Lalia, something.
Have I maybe seen a picture? Cause I'm like, if you bring up a picture, I might help you.
Look up Lalila Africa, doctor, holistic. Just put Black Doctor Lalila Africa, holistic. Now he's kind of racist, really, because he'll say stuff, that guy right there.
Yeah, I've seen it before.
Yeah, he really broke things down with regards to eating like eggs and this and that, and he was the first person that I heard say, "Oh, you're eating an egg. Well, an egg is a unfertilized egg. You know what unfertilized eggs are? They're periods for chicken." And I was just like,
Oh.
damn. And that made me like, at that point I was already vegan, but that gave me power. I was like, yeah, you eating chicken period, you dirty, and I became like an extreme vegan. I was like the guy that wanted I was like,
chicken period.
Chicken period, man. Think about that. But
yo, like when you think about it, it gotta have
what it is. An unfertilized egg is chicken period.
Nah.
Damn.
I just mess with you.
And then
I'm not a huge egg person.
And then when you eat 100%. Meat, you're not eating it raw like you're supposed to in nature.
You're cooking it
and adding seasonings to it. So now it's not really even doing what it's,
And we weren't born with teeth to rip meat out of like live meat. Like you gotta think about those things. Like, are we really?
Are we like?
Yeah. So I play on both sides of the line, man. I agree with some things, but then some things I like. But then everything contradicts. So like,
I think it's gut health.
It's gut health. Your gut is your second brain.
Yeah, I think it's
second brain.
It comes down to gut health and being able to eat and evacuate.
And it should go right through.
Yeah, and if it doesn't, then your body could retain it, and then over time become more acidic, and then it
poisons the body.
And then it ends up poisoning the body.
Yo, people be like, yo, I ate 4 times a day, and I went to the bathroom once in like 4 days. I'm like, bro, like.
Yeah, you backed up.
Something's wrong. Like you should have went to the bathroom.
You need a Citroma.
Yeah.
Or whatever kind of
something.
So
like it's crazy. That's a big thing, man. That's another big thing. Like a lot of people are not regular. And that's just as important. Like people are like, yo, why do I weigh so much? Like you got like 20 pounds of crap just not coming out that you gotta get out of you. Like
not only the crap, but there's also parasites. There's a book. I have this book. Is it back?
You gotta start sending me links for the books.
Yo, brother,
I like to share books.
Oh no, I'm gonna show you.
Don't overwhelm me though.
I'm gonna give you. Yeah, you like I said, man.
I already know.
But I have this one book. It's called the Rex. It's called like parasitic Rex, some parasitical Rex or something like that, and it talks about the influence that worms have in your palate and what you want to eat. Like eating, like let's say certain worms, when you feed them, they when they get hungry, they release certain toxins into your bloodstream that make you hungry. So that way you can eat the thing that makes you, it's real. I mean, it's real. It gets crazy.
I really heard a thing that. Most of the people walking around, they got parasites.
Oh yeah,
like it's
if you eat meat, you 100%.
You got parasites, so that's where you need to be. I mean, and again, like it's these other ways. Like, okay, you gonna eat meat, then you need to be cleansed. And you need to have some type of cleanse or some type of structure where you're cleansing yourself out. You can't just eat meat, eat meat.
One of the things, a big thing that I learned was, they told me, if you go to the gym and you do barbells every day, right? Your arms are gonna get fatigued, even if you're using, 30 pounds, whatever. I mean, 30 pounds is actually a lot, but let's say 15,
10.
And you're doing, sets. Eventually, it's gonna. Now, imagine doing that every single day for years. It's like your muscles is gonna hurt. You're gonna injure yourself, and that's the same with your stomach. Not giving your stomach time to heal. People don't fast. Like, just take one day and just don't eat anything and make the sacrifice. It's gonna be difficult, and it may be, so where you may feel a certain way. You're not gonna die.
Oh my God!
Just take a day and just 100%. Don't eat, and watch how you'll feel when you have that first glass of water and your body's just like ready to evacuate.
It's so healthy to do like a 24-hour, like a longest fast as you can do. Like cells, it is proven cells actually regenerate when you don't eat.
Yeah,
you give your body a chance. I mean, you hit a nail, and that's, to me, that's a big key that I tell people. Like listen, like you're eating too much.
Your body goes through ketosis.
Yeah, like you need that. You have enough energy in your body. Let the body use what's there, like, and it'll actually clean itself out.
Right.
But we don't give it time. You're right. We're always constantly eating. Like, and I'll tell people, like were you hungry this morning? Like, they don't know that they're not hungry. That's a
just-
habit.
they
There's a
just
habit of eating something when they wake up. And it's like, yo, why did you eat that? I don't know, because I eat it every day. Like, but you didn't even need to eat it. You weren't hungry.
There's also there's also ways to tell with your face if you have inflammation in the liver or the lungs.
Color your eyes. It's a lot of different things.
Yeah. So,
I don't even know half of them, but
I think the Asian culture, I'm not sure exactly from where, they have like that form of medicine where they're looking to see, inside your eyes and your nose and how inflamed and how much pimples and like they really take a real deep dive into man, there's a lot to unpack there,
bro.
brother.
I'm telling you, man, that conversation going forever. Crazy.
Well, how long we been? 2 hours. Yeah, that's pretty legit.
Pretty legit, man.
There's definitely a lot of other questions that I would like to ask.
100%.
And I really think that it's important for the information to get out there. Just being able to reach one, teach one type of thing. Like
I agree 100%.
Maybe somebody wants to work out, but they're in their mind they think that the best thing for them is to go to a gym, where it may be better for them to get a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, I hope that this podcast reaches people, and definitely the clips are gonna 100% reach people, and it could help and inspire. And I mean, you're an ex-NFL player. You've been through the grind, like
you have too. We all been through it at some levels, but yeah,
shoot.
no, 100%, man. Like, people think behind that door is just more doors to grind. Once you get in, you fight to get in. It's easier to get in than it is to stay in.
Right.
Like, you understand? It's hard to stay in once you get in. Once you see every Tuesday, my first year I went through 4 roommates because and the where I was staying was not. I didn't even sign a lease there. When I moved in, I was replacing the guy who had got cut, and then this guy was gone. I went through like 4 roommates, and every Tuesday, if you're not a contract guy, they didn't pay you a lot of money, you could be gone. So it's stressful, man. That type of stress.
I don't know, man. I'm glad I didn't.
It's tough, man. It's tough. It's we go through it. I don't miss aspects of the game. Honestly, for me personally, college was you're gonna be the guys you meet in college, you play in college, you're gonna build a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, I got a group of guys. One of our friends has a house in Anguilla. We make it a yearly trip. We all go there. Right? None of my NFL guys there, like, nah, like I might keep in touch with a few guys, but for the most part, man, nobody's there long enough.
You got Ray Lewis number, man? Let's try to see if
man,
we can get up in here.
I could probably get in touch with him, but I ain't got his number. But he played with so many. He played long.
He played with everyone.
He blessed a lot of people with his presence, man. I mean,
Ray Lewis is a legend.
The guy gave speeches, and you would think that I was like, yo, did he write that speech down last night? Like,
I think he loved the game.
He loves the game. Yeah. That's the way you talk. That's how he was. Yeah. The way you said how you were when you were in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I put money. That's how he was, and he's very passionate. He's passionate about everything he do, but he's definitely passionate about football. And the way he plays, the way he practices every day.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
every day.
Ray Lewis is somebody that's inspiring. I was big on. So for me, it was my 2 favorite players growing up was Ray Lewis and Brian Urlacher. I just felt like those guys really went after it.
I see the similarity.
They love the game, and I got a lot of my personality from that. Really, like, we got to be.
They play the game a certain way. I remember when Urlacher first came in, bro. He was like a beam, like, and it's a couple. Obviously, no disrespect for a lot of players, but like everybody has their favorite. But Ray Lewis is probably one of the he's one of the most well-known
he's
athletes, like that. The linebacker position, like, you don't make that. That's a hard position to make as popular as he did. And I played on the defense. I played with Rex Ryan. I played with I could go on forever, man. Like, just like sometimes it's crazy some of the people I play with, but the respect and the comfort. So the respect that you had to have, like, for the game, and then the respect you had to earn from your teammates to get on the field and play defense in Baltimore. And it's probably like that for all defenses because they are. But that defense
at that time,
and when that whole period when it was like the Air Reeds, the Ray Lewises, the Terrell Suggs, like, you had to like
Be that
for
guy.
me to get on the field and play against. I had an opportunity to play against Peyton Manning, Tom Brady,
Dante Culpepper.
no, I'm not. No, he was.
No,
He
oh,
was,
he
a
was
little before.
before,
He's
yeah,
before,
yeah.
yeah. But like, I had to do so much. I
Yeah.
wasn't gonna get on the field as a corner because we had 4 Pro Bowl corners, so I had to go to safety. Then I had to learn how to be an
Yeah.
X-backer and an exotic defense, and those were the ways I got on the field.
Yeah.
But like for me, I can always say at some point I was on the field with greats, and they trust me enough to put me out there because you're not going on the field.
Brother,
if you can't
that
get
is
your
an
job done.
accomplishment.
Yeah,
you
so,
play
like-
with think about it. You
Yeah.
play with Hall of Famers.
Quite a few, man. So like, and again, like I'm
Salute
sitting here
to you.
telling you that, and it's like because of them and because of their longevity, it's a lot of the guys, older, younger guys that had an opportunity to play with them,
Right,
which
right.
is for all of them, and they all pull something different from it, man.
And you know what's interesting, and I really admire is that you don't give off the sense that football is your identity. You know how some people, that's that, like I'm a rapper, that's what I'm known
Exactly.
for. You're so humble and
Nah,
chill
I don't
about
talk
it.
about it.
Yeah, it's almost
People
like,
You play football?
Yeah.
I get that a lot. And like I've worked at the gyms, and they're like, "Yo, you need to use that. We need to use that to market." And it's not that I don't mind. I don't mind because you get me talking about football.
Yeah.
We
Oh, yeah, you
could
gotta
have
get
did a
one in.
2-hour just on that, just talking about the ins and outs. But like, it doesn't define me. And again, like I said to you, I never came out saying.
Mhm.
Even when I was in college, going into my last year, my strength coach was like, "Jamaine, some some teams looking at you." Like, and I still was never like, I gotta be in the NFL. But what did get me is that same push.
Right.
All right, like I'm not getting looks from colleges. All right, they don't think I'm good enough to play in the league, so I'm gonna go show them just because they think like not that I'm like that's my whole life been geared towards trying to make it to the next level.
Right.
And it was like, can you do it? Can you figure it out? And that's what it's always been for me. That next level, like, tell me I can't do it, or not have that support system, or have people closest to you tell you can't do something. That like for me is like.
That's
It might take. I don't care if it take 10 years.
you gonna prove
It's
it
gonna
wrong.
happen. Yeah. And whether you're in the grave, I'm.
You still gonna grind in. You know
I'm
when
yeah.
you
Like
gone,
I'm gonna let you know. Like so. Nah, man. It never defined me, but it was a huge accomplishment. I won't belittle it,
Mhm.
but I rarely will talk about the fact that I played in the NFL. And you can ask anybody who knows me down River Road
Mhm.
or Lee. Like I'm not like, oh, I did this. Like somebody else would normally bring it up or ask me questions.
All right, and so like in closing, because I know we could talk for
Yeah,
forever.
we can go keep on.
If there's one thing that you would say to the youth or to just anybody really, one thing that to help inspire, to teach, to share, what's one thing that you would share with the world, that you have that's in your heart? Like, what's something that you would share?
Whatever you do, please don't sell yourself short, because in doing that, you are robbing somebody in this world from the opportunity of you sharing your gift with them to help them maybe get to a point in their place. Like, don't be okay with just being average, because none of us are average. Like, be the best version of yourself for it, whether you got 10 years on this earth or 80 years on this earth. Be the best you can be, because there are people that have affected this world and they didn't hit 25.
That's
And
true.
there's people that's been on this planet for 80 years old and you would have never known.
That's true.
Right? So you owe it to everybody else. I'm not even gonna say yourself, to just become the best version of yourself. Like, for you, obviously,
Mhm.
but you might be helping a kid that reads a book you write or a podcast you were on. 10 years from now, you might not even be here anymore,
Right.
because you took the time to improve yourself. So daily improvements so that you can affect somebody in a positive manner. Like, don't be selfish.
Right. Word. Damn. I don't think I could ever beat that, because that's a fact.
How
Hey,
we close
but-
it?
Yeah, how am I going to close after that, guys? Guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Unfortunately, it's late. We got to kind of close it off. We got to make sure he get home. It's always a privilege, when you have good people around you and you speak to like-minded individuals. conversations just come easy. You know, it's one of those things where I really genuinely I would talk to you all day,
Yo,
because I'm sure that we would get deeper and talk about, you know, you say you read a lot of books. That's something I love, and I'm very curious. One of the reasons why I started this podcast was because I want to have conversations with professionals in their area of expertise that I can learn from.
love it.
And you know, today I learned a valuable lesson, and I think I've met a great friend, and I appreciate you being here and teaching and also sharing your experiences, and I would love to have you back on. You know, I think it would be a great conversation.
I was
And- yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna demand it, bro.
Yeah,
demand to come
yeah,
back
you
on,
gotta
man. Good
come back
people,
on,
good
brother.
conversation. Thank
Absolutely.
you for having me up here, man.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
No, this is your home, brother. You know, you
Thank
could
you.
come here whenever you want. Like, I appreciate you being here, and the conversation is incredible.
Thank you.
So, yeah, guys, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, you know, hit the like button, share. That's probably the best thing you can do is, you know, subscribe and support. We're just trying to slowly make it.
I
You know,
love
it's
it, man.
one step at a time. So, thank you guys for tuning in, and until next time, peace.